Welcome to the story of the Enfield Poltergeist. In the late 1970s, a suburb in North London called Enfield became the center of a nationwide supernatural phenomenon that would shock the nation. The Hodgson family, living in a small council house on Green Street, claimed that they were being haunted by a malevolent poltergeist. What started as a few unexplained noises quickly escalated into full-blown paranormal activity that left the family and investigators baffled. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the Enfield Poltergeist, the evidence that was gathered, and the impact it had on paranormal research and public opinion. The Hodgson family consisted of Peggy, a single mother, and her 4 children, Margaret, Janet, Johnny, and Billy. The family lived in a small council house on Green Street, Enfield. The poltergeist activity started in August 1977, when the family reported hearing strange knocking sounds on the walls and furniture moving on its own. Soon, other unexplained events occurred, such as drawers opening and closing by themselves and toys being thrown across the room. The activity was mostly centered around Janet and Margaret, the 2 youngest girls, who claimed that they were being physically attacked by an unseen force. Peggy contacted the police and later a local newspaper, which brought the case to national attention. The poltergeist activity in Hodgson's home escalated quickly. Chairs and heavy objects were being thrown across the room, pictures were ripped off the walls, and the girls were being dragged out of their beds by an invisible force. The family and investigators also reported hearing disembodied voices and the sound of heavy breathing. One of the most well-known incidents involved Janet being lifted off her bed and thrown across the room in front of several witnesses. There were also claims of levitation, with the girls being lifted off the ground and suspended in mid-air. The activity was not limited to the inside of the house, as witnesses also reported seeing objects moving on their own outside. The strange events continued for months, leaving the family terrified and the investigators puzzled. As the poltergeist activity continued, the case gained national attention and several paranormal investigators became involved. The Society for Psychical Research, SPR, was one of the first groups to investigate the case. They set up cameras and audio recording equipment in the house and collected eyewitness accounts from the family and witnesses. The investigators claimed to have captured several pieces of evidence that supported the existence of a supernatural entity in the house, such as audio recordings of unexplained voices and the sound of furniture moving on its own. The footage of Janet's alleged levitation was also captured on camera. However, skeptics claimed that the evidence could have been easily faked and that the girls were putting on a show for attention. Despite the controversy, the Enfield Poltergeist remains one of the most well-documented cases of paranormal activity in history. Despite the evidence collected by the investigators, there were many skeptics who believed that the Enfield Poltergeist was nothing more than a hoax. One of the main criticisms of the case was that the girls were faking the activity for attention. It was alleged that Janet was caught bending spoons and that the girls were found to be hiding tape recorders under their pillows. Critics also pointed out that some of the eyewitnesses had ties to the SPR, which could have biased their accounts. However, the investigators and the Hodgson family vehemently denied these claims and insisted that the activity was genuine. To this day, the Enfield Poltergeist remains a subject of controversy, with believers and skeptics still debating its authenticity. In conclusion, the Enfield Poltergeist was a case that captured the public's imagination and raised important questions about the existence of the paranormal. While some skeptics believe that the activity was fake, many others argue that the evidence collected by the investigators is too compelling to ignore. Regardless of what you believe, the story of the Enfield Poltergeist remains a fascinating and eerie tale that continues to intrigue people to this day. It also serves as a reminder to keep an open mind and to critically examine the evidence before making a conclusion.